Tonight, I was going to make him see me as more. For a moment, I could only stare at his broad back, watching his movements as he smoked his cigarette. In an instant, I was transported back in time to the first time I'd met him. My older sister Andrea and I had gone up for a week-long camp out at Jake's farm. I didn't know at the time that he had invited his new bandmates to come along. The guys were just starting out, playing weekends at Eastman's Pub in downtown Atlanta. I knew AJ because he was our next-door neighbor when I was little, but the other two guys, Braden and Rhys, I'd never seen before. The moment Rhys stood up from his lawn chair and held out his hand to me, I was a goner. I liked every single thing about him, from his bygone-era manners to his wavy dark hair and chocolate-brown eyes. He was younger than the other guys, and somehow that made him seem more accessible to my teenage self. But my love for him was sealed the next day, the day he became my true knight in shining armor. During a swim at the waterfalls on Jake's land, I was deep underwater when I swam by a downed tree and became entangled in the branches. Panicking, I flailed left and right, but I couldn't seem to get loose. And then out of nowhere, Rhys's strong arms pulled me free. When I reached the surface, I was coughing and sputtering between fearful tears. "Hey now, don't cry, you're okay," he had said, pulling me against his bare chest. I'd melted against him. Even after I could breathe again and knew my life was no longer in danger, I couldn't bring myself to tear away from him. Instead, I kept trembling all over from my growing feelings, which Rhys mistook as me still being shaky from almost drowning. When he started rubbing wide circles over my back, I sighed with contentment. I jumped at the sound of a voice behind us.
"What the fuck do you think you're doing?"
Jake demanded. A chuckle rumbled through Rhys's chest.
"Easy, man, I'm not putting the moves on your baby sister." "Yeah, well, that's what it looks like to me."
A whimper escaped my lips as Rhys gently took my arms and extracted me from his embrace. He then turned back to Jake.
"She got tangled in that downed tree and almost drowned, you ass."
He shook his head.
"I don't like to think what would have happened if I hadn't seen her."
A shudder rippled through Jake as he processed Rhys's words.
I didn't know. I'm sorry,"
he replied, as he took long strides in the water to come to my side. He wrapped his arms around me.
"Oh, Allie Bean, thank God you're all right. I don't even want to fucking think of anything bad happening to you."
Once again, a shudder rippled through him. He placed a tender kiss on the top of my soaked head. "It's all right. I'm okay," I said, never taking my eyes off Rhys. When Rhys winked at me, my heart fluttered, and once again, I found myself fighting for breath.
"Yeah, she's fine. She's tougher than she looks," he said. "Come on, let's get you inside,"
Jake said. "No, I want to stay," I insisted, unable to bear the thought of being deprived 1 second with Rhys, my savior.
"Are you sure?"
Jake asked, concern etched on his dark brows.
"Hell, Jake, quit babying her. She said she's fine,"
Rhys countered.
"Fine, but just be careful, okay?"
Jake replied. I bobbed my head. "I will, I promise." With a final glance at me, Jake swam back over to where the others were. As Rhys turned to me, the sunlight hit the water droplets on his face, causing him to have an almost angelic glow. He gave me a beaming smile.
"Stick close to me and you'll be fine. I won't let anything happen to you."
"Thanks," I murmured. Now, 3 years later, I still loved Rhys with all my heart and soul. Of course, he didn't actually know how I felt about him, and there was no time like the present to let those feelings become known. "Hi, Rhys," I said. At the sound of my voice, he whirled around.
"Hi, Allie Bean,"
he said, tossing his cigarette to the ground. As he stomped out the glowing embers with his shoe, I wrinkled my nose, both at the smell of the smoke and at him using Jake's old nickname for me.
"What are you doing out here?"
I shrugged. I could ask you the same thing.
Well, I decided to have a smoke after